Chain Light, Johan, Leon, Eric, Deans, we are, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, everyone in between. Chat, how are we doing? God bless everyone. Welcome in, everybody. Sway Shocks, welcome in, bro. Ching Light, what's up? How is everybody? How are we doing, chat? We are here today to react to One Piece 1190 short summary spoilers. I'm excited. Actually haven't read the image. I only read like the individual spoilers prior to the image. So, I mean, I don't even know if the image added details or if it's exactly the same details as prior to the image. But we'll see, chat. How are we doing today? Why is it so dark? I need to get like a stream light to blast my face. Why is it so dark, man? I hope everyone's having a beautiful morning, day, or night, wherever you guys are, chat. How are you guys doing? Noob to God, welcome back, bro. Lucas, welcome back, man. I hope everyone's doing great. I'm here to talk about the spoilers. Chat, I know people, I think it was Lucas in particular, was asking for prayers prior to the stream, or at least prayers in the beginning of the stream. So, what kind of prayer should we have, guys? What kind of prayer should we have? We should do a prayer, fulfill the request, and then get the show on the road. Okay, I got one. All right, I had to go through my notes from 2025. Oh, dude, over a year ago. All right, in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, one God. I mean, my Lord and my God, I thank you with all my heart. I thank you for every breath, every morning, every mercy. Thank you for your cross, for shedding your blood to save me. Thank you for loving me even when I didn't love you, and waiting patiently while I wandered, and for calling me back with tenderness and truth. Thank you for the grace that keeps me standing. Thank you for your word that gives me life. Lord Jesus, You did not come to condemn, but to save. You touched the sick, and they were healed. You spoke, and the storm stopped. You commanded demons, and they fled. You saw the unseen, loved the rejected, and forgave the sinful. You met the Samaritan woman at the well. You knew her past, yet you didn't shame her. Instead, you gave her living water. She left her water jar. She left her shame, her sins, her old self, and ran to bring others to you. Lord, help me leave my jar too. Let me stop clinging to my past, my habits, my guilt. Make me new like you made her new. You healed the blind. Lord, open my eyes to see the truth and beauty. You cleansed the leper. Cleanse me from the stains of sin that cling to my heart. You raised the dead. Raise my soul when it grows cold and distant. You forgave the woman caught in adultery. Forgive me, Lord, and teach me to sin no more. You multiplied the bread. Multiply love, patience, and kindness in me. You walked on water. Help me trust you when everything around me feels unstable. You calmed the storm. Speak peace into my anxiety, my fears, my temptations. You cast out demons. Drive away every dark thought, every hidden chain in my life. Lord, I ask you, change me. Give me a heart full of love, a spirit of deep humility, a soul that longs for holiness. Make me gentle when I want to fight, silent when I want to gossip, faithful when I want to give up. In the name of Father, Son, Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Chat, it's time. Ooh, you want to get your foot ran over on accident? It's time, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. One Peak 1190 L, welcome in, man. How's it going, bro? Emu is a parrot. Joy Boy is a monkey. Lily is Jasmine. Do my favorite one. My favorite. I mean, I guess you could pray like the Orthodox Creed, right? Technically, you could pray the Creed, the introduction to the Creed, and the Creed itself. We exalt you, the Mother of the true light. We glorify you, O Saint, the Theotokos, for you have brought forth unto us the Savior of the whole world. He came and saved our souls. Glory be to you, our Master, our King, Christ, the pride of the apostles, the crown of the martyrs, the joy of the righteous, the firmness of the churches, the forgiveness of sins. We proclaim the Holy Trinity in one Godhead. We worship him. We glorify him. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. Lord, bless us. Amen. We believe in one God, God the Father, the Pantocrator, creator of heaven and earth and of all things seen and unseen. We believe in one Lord, Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of God, begotten of the Father before all ages, light of light, true God of true God, begotten, not created, of one essence with the Father, by whom all things were made, who for us men and for our salvation came down from heaven, was incarnate of the Holy Spirit and of the Virgin Mary, and became man. And he was crucified for us under Pontius Pilate, suffered and was buried. And on the third day he rose from the dead, according to the Scriptures, ascended into the heavens. He sits at the right hand of his Father, and he's coming again in his glory to judge the living and the dead, whose kingdom shall have no end. Yes, we believe in the Holy Spirit, the Lord, the giver of life, who proceeds from the Father, who with the Father and the Son is worshipped and glorified, who spoke by the prophets, and in one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church we confess one baptism for the remission of sins. And we look for the resurrection of the dead and the life of the age to come. Amen. Let's get it going, chat. It's time. No more delay. No more stall. One Piece 1190 brief spoilers. Title of the chapter is The Person Whose Death Would Make People Happy. Wow. Is this like an evil person? Amen. It was amazing that you read Spinoza when you even have you read the Holy Grail? I'm not sure what you're referring to, bro, but I do know a little bit about Spinoza's God. I was looking into that recently. Kind of interesting the way he looked at God. What was I saying? Yeah, it must be like a pretty awful person. I mean, like, think about it, right? In our day-to-day life, what kind of person do you have to be for someone to be like, oh, you know what? You're dead. I'm so happy. You have to be hated, right? Think about like Charlie Kirk, right? When Charlie Kirk was murdered, a lot of people were happy. And they were happy because they hated him. They liked to see him and his family suffer, or him be taken out, him not being here anymore. Or you could think about PDF files. A lot of people are happy and they celebrate when PDF files are deleted. When PDF files are sent to the recycling bin. Is that because they like the PDF file? No, they hate the PDF file, right? So they'll celebrate the death. But this is interesting because, as you guys can see, Johan in the chat, um, uh, Oda might be spinning this for a positive note, where like someone we look up to and admire, their death brings joy to people, but not through like this vindictive, vengeful kind of route like what I just described. In fact, in one sense, we mourn the death of Christ, but in another sense, we celebrate the cross, because the cross is what ontologically repairs man. We are able to have the Imago Dei again. We're able to participate in God again, right? And this was made manifest through the cross, right? So, in one sense, of course, we mourn the death of the Lord, right? We mourn the death of Christ, of course. On another hand, it brings joy. So maybe Joy Boy is kind of like that, or maybe Roger in a way is like that, because when Roger was turning himself in, you know, King of the Pirates, Roger was turning himself into the world government, and we see the whole Roger pirate crew crying. They were devastated, right? Heartbroken. So we see that that realm of heartbreak, but then on the other hand, you know, we see a whole different realm of joy and excitement, because his death brought about the new age of pirates, people searching for the One Piece. So you see, like, leaving a legacy. Maybe it's something like that. I think Johan is pretty spot on here. You know, so you can have a paradoxical type of environment. You know, some things in this world genuinely are logical contradictions. Like, you cannot have a 3-corner circle. Like, that's not possible. And like, some people will say, like, can God make a boulder so heavy he can't lift it? Can God make a square circle? That's a logical contradiction. Like, logical contradictions don't apply to God, right? But then, on the other hand, you can have paradoxes that are not necessarily a logical contradiction in the formal sense, you know? So, for an example, right? Saint Athanasius, he will, and I don't want to make this too religious, because I know not everyone here is Christian and not everyone here is religious, but if we think about Jesus, right? Saint Athanasius on the Incarnation, he teaches us that the one person of Jesus Christ, the second person of the Godhead, the Son, he has paradoxical attributes, but Jesus is not a logical contradiction. We see passibility within Christ, but then there's also impassibility. We see mortality within Christ, but then we see immortality within Christ. So we can see that these hypostatic properties of Christ, in a sense, yeah, they're paradoxical, but that doesn't it's not a formal logical contradiction that delegitimizes the incarnation. But anyways, I say all that to say, you can have this paradox. You know, maybe Joy Boy's death, Roger's death, on one hand, it brings pain and sadness to people, or maybe even more suffering. But then on the other hand, there is joy, there is excitement, there is hope. So things, sometimes in life, things are nuanced. You can't not everything is binary. Yes, there's certain things that are binary. Like gender. What's something binary, chat? Are the laws of logic true? That's a binary question. It's either yes or no. I mean, what are some other things that are like binary? Does 1 + 1 equal 2? That's like a binary approach. That's a binary question. There's no third option. within the laws of logic, you have the law of the excluded middle, right? But anyways, I'm going on a tangent here. Let's read. Reader requested cover. Cover is young Shanks and Kid Luffy eating fishes. Now that's actually kind of cool. You got like a cover request of young Shanks. We know Shanks is much older than Luffy, but in this cover request, what we're seeing visually is a young Shanks and a young Luffy. We would never see that within like the canonical storyline. Obviously, Shanks is much older than Luffy. So it's kind of cool to see that in some sense, albeit it's a, you know, a reader request for the cover. So it's not like a canonical event in the story. But nonetheless, still kind of cool to see young Shanks and young Luffy side by side. Sure, Joy Boy is a communist. Luffy a bit capitalist in the sense that the One Piece is a trap for him, while Joy Boy is the One Piece. Damal, God bless, bro. Welcome back, man. Gear Destruction, next chapter. Yeah, some people see him as the god of destruction. Which, by the way, guys, if my energy turns down, I told you guys a few weeks ago, I fixed my sleep schedule. I'm on a great roll. Around this time, I start getting sleepy. And due to this stream, I will be going to bed late. I had a packed day. You know, I went on my morning jog. I did my my academic studies. My at-home academic studies. I had work. Then after work, I went to church. Now it's at the end of the day. I'm already quite tired. So if you guys want to support me, if you guys think that you want to go above and beyond, if you're a loving, generous person, you guys can hit us with the Stream Elements link in the stream chat. 110% optional. Donate to us in the Stream Elements chat so I could take care of my beautiful wife. I want to buy her some gifts. I need to pay my bills. I want to spoil her. I need to get a bigger house. I need to have kids. Medical bills, taxes, food, bro, everything. Chat, we're grown men, you and I. So if you guys want to help me in life and bless me, I'd be extremely grateful. But of course, it's optional. But of course, Stream Elements in the chat. Because the One Piece symbolizes the ego, Roger died because Emu put black magic on the island. It's like Attack on Titan. Okay, what do you mean by the One Piece symbolizes ego? What does that mean? The One Piece symbolizes ego. What does that even mean? Sway Shocks, welcome back, brother. How you doing, man? This chapter is going to wake everyone up. Yeah, let's continue reading because I got something to show you guys. You guys are going to be excited. You guys are going to be amped. You guys are going to be grateful you're subscribed to this channel with what I'm about to show you. But before I show you that, we need to read the spoilers. Gabon tells Luffy, how disappointing. You need to be rescued by an injured old man. The Pirate King is someone whose death would make people happy because everyone wants to sit on that throne. If you want to become the Pirate King while living happily and comfortably, then go back home. After saying this, Gabon throws Luffy far away and starts fighting Emu. Chat, it's over. Here's our next victim. Debate Zoro versus Shanks. Okay, well, I'll consider doing that in a bit. I do want to focus primarily on the spoilers. But welcome back, Nicholas. I do remember you requesting that. Okay, so after saying this, Gabon throws Luffy far away and starts fighting Emu. Emu draws a Japanese sword called Honebami, which means bone eater, and fights Gabon. Okay, so now we have Scopper Gabon versus Emu. Is my dog vomiting? Hey, are you okay? Floki, come here. Come here. Okay. Alright, sorry about that. It was a dog break. Floki? Chat, you want to say hi to Floki? Say hi to Floki. Come here, boy. Let me say hi to the chat. Come here, Floki. He just showered, chat. He just showered. Look at him. Floki, say hello. Say hi, Floki. He just showered, guys. Floki. Look at him. It's not Loki. It's Floki with an F. Right, Floki? Oh, look at him. Look at him. He's smiling. Floki. All right, anyways. What were we talking about? Okay, Gabon. This might be the end of him. Oh, now he's smiling hard. Now that I put him down, he's smiling hard. Kakashi dog. Scopper said Roger would never. Dude, I don't know about Roger, man. Dude, ever since that freaking Kuja pirate flashback, I stopped respecting Roger. Like, he just, dude, Roger lost so much aura to me. Like, this arc, maybe I should put it that way. This arc just, like, obliterated all my admiration for Roger. You want to go, Floki? All right, then go. You want to go? You go. You want to say you want to go? You want to go? You want to say? You say you want to go? You want to go? You want to say? You want to say you want to go? All right, what are we talking about? Did Oda ever introduce the man with the burn scar? Nope, we're still waiting. Maybe I should just bring it up now. All right, chat. I'll just bring it up now. Given that given that Gabon is fighting Emu, chat, we have to face the facts. There is a huge possibility that Gabon will die. Is that not plausible, chat? Eli, I saw you in the chat earlier. Where you at? Shout out to Eli, guys. Eli just graduated. I've known Eli for years. He just graduated the other day. Can we get a W, Eli, in chat? He graduated from university for hydroponics. Okay? Huge shout out to Eli. I'm very proud of you, bro. You're going to have a successful career. I hope you and your girlfriend, I don't know if you're engaged yet or anything like that. I hope you guys are doing wonderful. I hope you and your family are doing great. Congrats, bro. I'm very proud of you. You deserved it. Eli, you deserved it, bro. You thugged it out. I'm sure it was extremely difficult. All the essays, all the papers, going in early, leaving late. I'm sure all the work and the effort was tremendous. You deserve it, brother. I'm sure you will be very successful in life. I'm proud of you, man, bro. Guys, with Gabon fighting Emu, I do want you guys to be real with me, okay? If Gabon is fighting Emu, we need to understand that there is a high probability that Gabon can die. Now, someone might argue, oh, but Gabon, he could be the man with the burn scar. Yeah, sure. Maybe Gabon could be the man with the burn scar. Maybe he has the burn scar on his back or something. Maybe it's on his belly. Maybe Gabon has that road poneglyph somewhere. But that is called a theory. You can't just assert a theory like it's a given, right? There's no, as far as I can see, there are no facts regarding Gabon that prevent him from dying. Because Oda wouldn't leave Colin fatherless and Ripley a widow. Portgas was a widow. Ace was fatherless. And even if you try to look at it through that sense, I mean, a character can die without the son dying. A character can die without the daughter dying. You would just be arguing from emotion. You know, like, it would be so mean if Oda killed Gabon and, you know, Colin didn't have a father. I mean, from the outset, that is already a subjective approach. That is just a subjective opinion. It could be mean to you, but not mean to me. So if you're going to start from the outset arguing from a subjective perspective, I would call into question, where is an objective argument, right? If we're trying to debate, if we're trying to make theories, you can't say, oh, well, let me tell you about my subjective feeling. You're like, with all due respect, right? This goes to anyone in any conversation, right? I'm not trying to single someone out. I'm not trying to bully you guys, okay? So don't take it personally. If we're having a conversation, if we're having a debate, if we're trying to discover the truth, if we believe that the truth corresponds with reality, right? And we're trying to have a theory of truth, you have to realize that our subjective opinions, our subjective emotions and feelings are not reflective of the objective world. Our feelings, like for an example, I feel that Gabon's death would be so bad. I feel it'd be heartbreaking and it'd make me mad. It would be trash. It would be garbage. I could say all those things, but all of those feelings, all of those viewpoints are subjective. They depend on my mind. I'm speaking from my mind. But when we're having a conversation and we're trying to talk about reality, albeit One Piece is just written on a piece of paper, if we're trying to talk about reality, or better yet, make a theory about the future, we need to argue from objective means. And when I say objective, I'm talking about mind independence. Okay? So if I say Blackbeard's not the final boss, that would be garbage. I think that would be garbage. The objective world, meaning the mind independent world, doesn't care what my mind thinks. My mind is completely irrelevant to the objective world. Why would Blackbeard not be the final boss just because my brain feels a certain way? My brain is completely detached from the possibility of Blackbeard being the final boss. I mean, just think about it logistically. Oda doesn't even know that I exist, presumably. Okay, so going back to Gabon, I don't see any established facts in the story for people to argue objectively, or at least truth conducively, that Gabon will live. I mean, sure, you don't like it. Sure. To you, it's garbage. To you, it would be very mean. It'd be heartbreaking, but none of that is an objective argument. And I say that with respect. I'm not trying to be rude, okay? I'm not better than you guys. I'm not trying to be a know-it-all. Some people try to say that I'm trying to act like a college professor. I'm just trying to be rational. I think this is like logic 101, and I know you guys are very smart, right? A lot of you guys in the chat are smarter than me. You guys make me look dumb. For an example, Eli in the chat makes me look dumb. Okay, so if we're arguing from logic, we cannot sit here and say that, well, I don't like something, so it's not true. That no one cares about your feelings. Okay? Now, sorry, there's a really long rant, but I wanted to point out, on January 1st, you guys can see my screen, right? Look at this tweet, January 1st, 2026. On January 1st of this year, we made a bingo card. We threw a bunch of fun, random stuff out at the board about what will happen in One Piece, right? And we didn't do the lame guesses like, and for my 2026 bingo card, I bet that Luffy will appear. I bet that Zoro will appear. You know, these like basic guesses that like anyone can get. We try to have a little fun with it. You know, we try to throw a little tinfoil stuff, a little things that's kind of possible, right? But one of the things, if you notice here, to the left of free space, right here, I chose this. I put Scopper Gabon dies. Now, if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you would know firsthand way before this bingo card was made on January 1st, way before, earlier in AK or Elbaf, I was already thinking Scopper Gaban was gonna die. You guys bear witness to that. Now, what are we seeing in the current plot of One Piece? What are we seeing? Gaban fighting Emu. There could not be a better option or a better, more likely scenario of Gaban's death than that. If Gaban was fighting Summers, Gaban could survive. If Gaban was fighting Keatingham, yeah, Gaban, maybe he could survive. If Gaban was fighting Gunko, I mean, yeah, Gaban was stabbed and thrown off a mountain, if you guys remember. But maybe he could survive Gunko. But no. Chat, we're talking about Emu. And I surely I don't have to espouse on that, right? Surely you guys understand the implications of fighting Emu. Surely the chat understands Emu's power, and I don't need to go through a whole thesis on it, right? If Gaban is fighting someone like Emu, that's literally the worst possible person you could fight in the entire planet. So, and plus, seeing that Luffy just got easy clapped by Emu, and Gaban is nerfed. Remember, Gaban was stabbed. Gaban tried to save the children. You guys remember this? Gaban tried to save the children. He was stabbed, and he fell off the mountain. So it's not like Gaban is in 100 HP Gear 5. No. Gaban is already nerfed. And he's about to fight Emu? Yeah, this dude is highly likely to die. Now, I'm not saying, oh, there's a 100% chance Gaban will die. I'm not saying all that. I would say probably like a 90% chance. Gaban told Luffy and Zoro to meet him before they leave Elbaf, if the island is still in one piece. That's set up for Gaban encounter after the conflict. How do you not know that won't be an empty promise? I mean, you literally have one of the most important figures in One Piece history. What's his name? Joy Boy making a promise to, I guess, the Fishman Island people. And even him with that promise was broken, and he had to write an apology about it. Does Gaban... Why does Gaban have a infallible promise that Joy Boy doesn't have? It's kind of weird. Odin was making repeated promises in his journey regarding Wano. That failed. Who else? Zebek made a promise saying, I will be back. I'll be back and I'll kill you, Emu. What happened to that? And I already know someone's going to object. Oh, well, Blackbeard is going to come back and he's going to fight Emu. Timeout. That's called a theory. Okay. Secondly, how do you know Zebek at that moment was thinking, yeah, in like 40 years, my son's going to come beat you up? I think the a priori intuitive meaning is that he himself was going to show back up and fight Emu. Sure, Oda could spin it and then like Blackbeard has a run-in with Emu, which, by the way, again, it's still just a theory. But are we really going to argue that when Zebek said that, he meant that he himself, or his son in 40 years was going to return? Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. That sounds like an unsubstantiated claim. I don't know. It won't be an empty promise or red herring. I'm not saying that's proof or a silver bullet. I'm just saying that's evidence towards a setup. I mean, it's an attempted argument. I just don't think it bridges us all the way there. And I get the point, right? If Gabon survives this arc and he has a conversation with Luffy and Zoro, you know, Gabon and Luffy and Zoro, they meet up and they discuss or whatever, we could look back at this panel, right? And we could see, oh, well, yeah, Gabon already made that promise. He already said to Luffy and Zoro they were going to meet up. You could look back and reflect on it and be like, oh, yeah, look, that's pretty straightforward. But we are not at that point. So no one should slip into an error and presuppose the conclusion. And again, I think the gap between well, Gabon made a promise. Was it even that serious of a promise? Gabon told Luffy and Zoro he would have a convo with them, so therefore he will survive. It's like I feel like there might be a little bit of a gap there, you know. Surely, like he could still die, right, without having that conversation. But anyways, let's continue with the spoilers. Gabon uses his technique Shinmon Hasen Fukushu, destroying the ground and causing them to fall into the underworld. The final scene shows Gabon lying on the ground with his left arm cut off below the elbow. Luffy is in shock when he sees Gabon injured at the end of the chapter. You know, if Gabon survives, I think it might be a case of Emu thinking like, bro, you're an ant to me. I don't even care about you. Like, I'm gonna throw like an attack or two at you and like I'm gonna just walk away. Like, you don't even really matter to me. It would probably be a scenario like that. But you know what's interesting is if Emu acted that way, there would be a part of me, maybe a small part of me, that would wonder why in the full sense, because Scopper Gabon knows what the One Piece is, Emu, and Scopper Gabon knows you exist. Isn't this kind of risky? Are you sure you want to have Gabon alive, knowing that he understands the One Piece and he understands that you exist? Wouldn't it make more sense for you to eliminate him to gatekeep these secrets? Unless maybe Emu, for some reason, doesn't realize that Gabon is a former Roger pirate. And, yeah, I'm not too sure. It's not about Gabon's promise being infallible. It's about plot lines being set up. You can't deny there is potential evidence toward Gabon surviving, right? Yeah, it's entirely possible that Gabon survives, for sure. I would not say it's 100% likely Gabon dies. Why would anyone make that argument? What I am saying is I think it's more likely that he dies than he survives. And again, I understand the argument, right? The argument is pretty simple, right? He makes a promise about having a conversation with these guys. Well, surely he has to survive in order to have that conversation, right? I understand the argument. It's very one-dimensional. All I'm arguing is that I think there's a very big gap, because you got to look at the context. Gabon is heavily injured prior to Emu. Look, before this chapter, Gabon was heavily injured. We have to acknowledge that. That's our starting point. Gabon was extremely injured. He approaches Emu, which is literally, there's no worse person you could fight, literally. He approaches Emu, and now he lost an arm. You don't think it's more likely that he dies than he survives? A super nerfed man that lost an arm is fighting Emu. I think it's pretty, I don't know. For me, it's more likely that he dies, but no, I would not say it's 100% likely that he dies. I'd probably say like a 90% chance. Oda might be thinking like, hey, you know what? We need more deaths in the plot. We need a Roger Pirate death. You know, I can't kill Shanks. I can't kill Buggy. I can't kill Rayleigh. Rayleigh, that's Luffy's teacher, man. Well, you know what? I'm gonna kill Gabon. Oda isn't killing Gabon. All right, well, what's the argument, bro? Welcome in, man. I'd be very surprised if Oda kills Gabon. All right, well, why would he not kill Gabon? What's the argument? He never kills characters. You know what? You guys got me. Dude, the answer was that simple. Nicholas and Slat Slime. You got me. I concede. I forgot that it could be that simple. We don't need like a whole 4-step, 5-step syllogism. Oda doesn't kill people, so therefore Gabon survives. I can't even refute that. I concede. Nicholas and Slat Slime win. I agree, Oda doesn't kill people. The likelihood of any character dying, in my opinion, needs to be looked through a meta lens, meaning I have to step outside the scope of the story and look at real world variables like the manga industry. Really? For Gabon? I mean, is there even significant Gabon merch? I'm not even sure if Gabon increases merch sales. Read this. What's the argument that Oda isn't killing Jinbei? Main character of the story? Straw Hat crew member? Based fishman. Boom, you lost. TikTok doom sound. Yeah, he's a main character. All the Straw Hats are main characters. Luffy is the protagonist, and all the Straw Hats are, or at least the crew members, right? The Straw Hat crew members are main characters, while Luffy is the protagonist. Inu is the overarching antagonist. Blackbeard is the secondary antagonist. Young Smokey. Gabon merch is the true One Piece all along. I hope not. I hope not. Because the One Piece would be freaking useless then. More about series perception than merch sales? You think like people would perceive One Piece differently if Gabon dies? I mean, technically, yeah, it changes the story, but by what point? Like, by what degree? Maybe I'm misunderstanding you. I might be misunderstanding you. I hope you don't see me twisting your words. There's evidence of an expectation being built to meet after the arc, yes, but there's no reason it can't be unfulfilled. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Deans. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And if I offer a little bit more pushback, I don't even know how strong this expectation really is. Like, I'll concede, maybe it's an expectation, it's a slight expectation, but I don't know if I would say like there's a huge expectation that Gabon will meet them. I don't know, that might be a strong is doing some heavy lifting there. I would say a slight expectation. There's evidence of a there's slight evidence of an expectation being built to meet after the arc, yes, but there's no reason it can't be fulfilled. I think like that's a fair assessment. This is the final saga. Heads are gonna roll. Hey, I'm not opposed to it. We need that seriousness back in One Piece, man. Where's our ace, dude? Can Gabon be our ace? Emu's gonna leap after Luffy, right? and Emu's gonna go for the kill on Luffy, and Gabon's gonna jump in front of Luffy. And Gabon's gonna get aced. Ace in the hole. Some people think too much that One Piece is Netflix and Game of Thrones. What do you mean by One Piece is Netflix and Game of Thrones? What does that mean? Do you think it works like this? What do you mean by that, though? Those who have a chance of dying: Luffy, Zoro, Shanks, Blackbeard, Emu, and Garp. Yeah. Luffy? Zoro is an interesting one. Me personally, I don't see any of the Straw Hat members dying before Luffy accomplishes his dream. And I haven't like worked this out. I'm just giving you guys my opinion, right? I haven't made like a proper argument for this. If you're asking my arbitrary opinion, okay, if you're asking me for my arbitrary opinion, I don't think any of the Straw Hats die before Luffy's dream is accomplished. I think all of the Straw Hats survive to see Luffy's dream. Then, okay, maybe they could die. Why are you trying to kill the GOAT? You think he's the GOAT? GOAT is a strong title, dude. I get that you love Gabon, but GOAT? Yeah, I don't know about that, champ. By the way, chat, break next week. Are you kidding me, man? Break, chapter, break, chapter, break, 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 chapter, break, chapter, break, chapter, break, 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 chapter, break, chapter, break, chapter, chapter into break, chapter into break, break into a chapter, break into chapter. Bro, just make a freaking beat off of break, chapter, break. Man. All of the seriousness of post time skip has been through the flashbacks, tension when Luffy is down and out. Emu hype. Yeah, that's kind of true. A lot of the tension is through a flashback. Like, there is tension outside of the flashbacks as well. But I don't know, man. There might be more tension in the flashbacks than outside the flashbacks. I think Usopp dies after a Blackbeard encounter. Usopp claps Emu after Gabon and Luffy. What? This is a crack rock take. Guys, we gotta highlight this. This is a crack rock take. This is a chat. Don't do drugs. I mean, some people have died already in the past. Ace, Whitebeard, Izo, and Pedro. Dude, are the majority of the One Piece deaths in Marineford? I mean, like, in a way, like, that makes sense because it was a huge war, but the series is still long. I think Oda has fumbled 2026. Not that it's been bad, but I feel like he's been super lazy this year. F the live action. These breaks gotta stop. Yeah, Oda is sacrificing the canon material for the live action. They might be even pressuring him over this. They might actually be saying, Oda, we need you to come here, man. You need to meet the contract. You signed the contract, Oda. You know, forcing him to fly out. I got into a debate last night about Emu's silhouette. I argued we don't know enough about it to know if it's an actual form or not. And they argued it's not a form, just a silhouette for us as viewers. Okay, so the difference is you don't know what's going on with Emu's form, and your interlocutor is eliminating the option that it's a pure black form. Well, the difference between you guys is you are open to the possibility that Emu's silhouette is literally a form, and he's not. So, I mean, why? Naturally, you should ask why. Why is it not a form exactly? And see if he has a truth conducive epistemic reason as to why it's not a form. If he says something like, oh, well, that would be dumb, that's not a reason. Why do you think it could be a form is not a reason either. I would just ask him, why is it not a form? Surely you have a reason to eliminate something, right? Well, why? I feel like with Izo and the other scabbards, that died was forced. Ashura Doji was very forced, shouldn't have ever even killed him. He said every silhouette we've ever gotten looked drastically different from the reveal, and it was used to keep Emu's identity from us. You know, that's funny, because like this argument, isn't this like the same problem of induction? This is exactly like the problem of induction. This is exactly like when we talk about philosophy, right? Like epistemology, the domain of knowledge, what is it and where do we get it? We have this problem of induction, a problem of the uniformity in nature, where someone says, I know that the future will resemble the past. If you press them, how do you know the future will resemble the past? Most people reflexively say, oh, well, because in the past, right, every time I saw the future, it looked just like the past, right? They're going to essentially beg the question. They're going to assume the conclusion from the premises. It's going to be circular. So what you're describing to me here reminds me of that. Because he would say, he's arguing inductively, right? He's saying, well, every time I got a silhouette, it led into a drastically different reveal, right? He's making an argument from induction. He's taking a series of particular observations to make one general inductive conclusion. But now he wants to apply this inductive conclusion to the future or to future cases. So, how is he doing that? It sounds like he's just making a circular argument, because you're not how are you observing the future? I mean, technically speaking, this black silhouette of Emu, it hasn't been decided one way or another as to whether or not it's a form or if it's a silhouette. That hasn't really been made clear. So we should position that question onto a future expose, a future explanation. I don't know, for lack of a better term. So again, this guy would be arguing inductively. He'd be saying, well, look, this guy was a silhouette, this guy had a silhouette, this guy had a silhouette, this guy had a silhouette, and all these guys, they ended up looking way different from the silhouette, right? I'm taking these particulars to make one general conclusion, and now I want to slap that conclusion on everything. But we can't observe the future. And if I ask him, okay, you're saying that every time you had a silhouette, it looks like the future depiction, the reveal or whatever of the character, it looked differently from the silhouette. I understand the point, but how do you know the future will resemble the past? I get that in the past, the future, it kept resembling what you believed it would, meaning the silhouette looks drastically different from the person. I get that you made that guess over and over, but how do you know that the future with Emu's form, his silhouette, how do you know that your prediction now, how do you know about your future or your prediction of the future will resemble the past. How can you do that? I don't think he will have an answer for that. This is actually a very classic problem in philosophy, a very classic problem. In epistemology, it's called the problem of induction. And David Hume, a radical skeptic from the 18th century, was one of the forefathers of this problem. Axerom, welcome back, brother. God bless, man. Enu's taken over from his devil fruit, like the Minotaurus and Impel Down. Really? You don't think Emu was able to dominate the will of the fruit? That was my argument, that the past doesn't dictate the outcome and we can't totally say what it is. Yeah. But see, most people, they don't understand that presupposing the future will resemble the past is circular. They don't understand that presupposing the very thing in question, or assuming the very thing in question, is a circular argument, especially in this specific domain, in the uniformity of nature, in induction. People, they don't understand that. They don't realize that, because we do it so much by habit, right? David Hume, he points out famously that animals, children, babies, we naturally act and argue inductively. We naturally assume the future will resemble the past. We all do it reflexively. So if someone is pushed to justify the uniformity of nature, or justify why the future will resemble the past, induction, whatnot, they tend to argue reflexively, right? They argue reflexively by assuming the very thing in question. And I'm not trying to be rude to the guy. You know, we all learn something new. I don't know everything. That's just my opinion. Is the past the future? No. I mean, Bertrand Russell, he would say something like, the future always became the past, so we might dub those incidents as past futures. But I don't think that's what you're asking, is it? Like, I could think about 10 seconds in the past from now. Well, if I wait 10 seconds, that moment of that specific moment, 10 seconds in the past or in the future, is now in the past if I wait, right? So we would call that a past future. Is that what you're asking? King Wei, welcome back, brother. God bless your soul. Welcome in, man. How you doing, bro? King J with the 40. Thank you so much, brother. Hit that stream elements. You know YouTube takes a big chunk. You know YouTube runs a highway robbery on your boy. Hit the stream elements, but nonetheless, thank you, brother. I greatly appreciate it. Blackbeard is the final villain of Hachinosu Arc. True. Thank you so much, bro, and that's a true statement. Of course, there is a lot of emphasis on Blackbeard. The point of Blackbeard's character is that he is the biggest pirate threat. The battle for who's gonna be Pirate King, I think that battle, that war goes between Luffy and Blackbeard. That's Blackbeard's role in the story. But I'll tell you what's not Blackbeard's role in the story. Causing the obfuscation of poneglyphs, causing the hiding of the One Piece, causing Laugh Tale, causing the Void Century, causing the Elbaf mural, causing the One Piece world government, causing the Empty Throne. I mean, we could just go on and on and on and on and on and on. When it comes to worldwide power, worldwide suffering, this is going to attribute to Emu, not Blackbeard. And this is obvious, this is common sense to those who don't assume theories. Sure, it's possible Blackbeard's the final boss. Yeah, it's possible. I've said this a million times. Blackbeard being the final boss even after Emu, yes, it's possible, of course. But that is a theory, and we are having a battle of theories. Right? This is a battle of worldviews, okay? We're trying to argue which conclusion is more truth conducive. Okay? And I've discussed the Blackbeard final boss, Emu final boss ad nauseum. I've discussed this literally like a billion times on stream in like every freaking session. So if you guys want to save me the breath, join the Discord server and go to my spoiler chat or my general chat. The reason why is if you go to my server in the general chat or spoiler chat and you look at the pinned messages, there's a message from God of War Nidhogg, aka King J. King J has a paper called Emu Final Villain PDF. I want you guys to read that because I'm so tired of talking about Emu. Is Emu the final boss or is Blackbeard the final boss? Go read that paper. Okay? It just... There's nothing left to discuss after that paper, and it's only 17 pages. Each page doesn't have that much text. Each page is kind of short. It's quite short. You could read through it in 10 minutes. And it covers everything. And in my opinion, it puts the debate in a ditch. It puts it in a coffin. There's nothing more to discuss after that. So if you guys want to, maybe you guys want to hear more of the arguments. Maybe you guys want to see what are the arguments for Blackbeard being the final boss? What are the arguments for Emu being the final boss? Which one's better? Which one's stronger? Which one has the problems? Which one has the strengths? Just go to my Discord server, !Discord. I have a general chat and I have a spoiler chat. Both of those chats in the pinned messages has the paper King J wrote. Okay? Nothing wrong with having inconclusive theories. We just have to wait on Oda eventually to confirm or debunk them. Of course. But before I get to that, Young Smokey with that $99. Can we get a Wokey in the chat? Can we get a Wokey in the chat? Can we get a Wokey in the chat? Can we give me Wokey in the chat? Can we get a Wokey in the chat? Thank you, brother. 99, he says, have we talked about how Blackbeard isn't him yet? You know, when I did this title of You're Not Him, it wasn't about Blackbeard. It was about Gabon, dude. Yo, Smokey's about to refund that donation. Bro's gonna be like, wait, I told you to make the thumbnail and the title of the stream, You're Not Him, because Evil, I wanted to clown on Blackbeard, but Evil, you did that thumbnail, You're Not Him, for Gabon? Nah, bro, I'm refunding that donation. Wokey in the chat. Can we get a Wokey in the chat? Can we get a Wokey in the chat? Yo, I gotta sing that and make it like a soundboard button. We haven't used a soundboard in a long time, have we? Another 99. Thank you, bro. And it's with the stream elements. Chat, we don't deserve Smokey. We really don't. We don't deserve him, dude. Chat, we really don't deserve him. I want all you guys to bow and kiss his feet. Evil said I don't want to break out the Blackbeard or the blackboard today. Yo, it's right here. I will break out the blackboard. I'm just waiting for some slop. I am waiting for some slop to enter the chat, okay? Once we get some slop in the chat, I'll pull out the whiteboard. Okay? Let me get some slop in the chat. I'll pull out the blackboard. Thank you so much, brother. God bless you, man. You and your family. Thank you, bro. Is that another 99? 300. Now, I need to see Wokies. Ban everyone in the chat who's typing or who's talking and not saying Wokey. $3.99 donos. I demand a refund. Gabon don't deserve this type of slander. He is him. Okay, I take it back. I take it back. I take it back. The thumbnail for this stream says you're not him. I'm not talking about Scopper Gabon. I'm talking about Blackbeard. Okay, chat? Thank you so much, bro. I really can't thank you enough, man. God bless you. And may he grant you everlasting mercy. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much, King. I admit it. Blackbeard's not him because Blackbeard had 4 homies, and he struggled against Law and a polar bear. Yeah, I don't know about Blackbeard anymore. Hey, the Blackbeard fans, they tried telling us, yo, Blackbeard, he can counter people with devil fruits. Watch, bro. Blackbeard's gonna fight Luffy, and Blackbeard's gonna counter Luffy's devil fruit. Yeah? Why didn't he counter Law's devil fruit? Oops. Oh, shoot. Whoa. Yo, never ask a Blackbeard fan why Blackbeard didn't counter Law's devil fruit. Bro got shock willied. Bro is bleeding. Bro is panting. But I thought he could counter devil fruit users. Oh, just not that one? Just not Law? Just not Law. Can Blackbeard counter a polar bear? How did Beppo speed blitz Blackbeard? That's your final boss? Hey, who here in the chat thinks Beppo could speed blitz Emu? After seeing Emu's performance against Luffy and Loki, who here thinks that Beppo can speed blitz Emu? I'm asking because Beppo speed blitzed Blackbeard. So what's going on there? Smokey made Evil change his mind quick with $300. Bro, what can I say, man? Bands make her dance. What can I say, bro? Bands make her dance. Bands make her dance. Bands make her dance. Chat, should we open the open mic? Should we open the mic? Or should we mic the open? Evil does something for Smokey. He deserves this. Yeah, I'm giving Smokey his flowers, man. The Celestial Dragon's eating polar bear that night. Beppo is Yonko level? That is the power of the dollar. He's going to become a millionaire thanks to him. True. You still need $33 to complete the 333. Oh, that's true. Hey, that's true. You see that, Smokey? Or anyone in the chat for that matter. 333. Smokey just dropped 399s. We'll just count that as 300. But we need 33 more to fulfill the 333. What you mean? 333, what you mean, Jelly Bean? The Gabon hype is real with the additional Oh, there's additional spoilers, isn't there? Where are the additional spoilers? Are they these? Gabon remembers his crewmates and rivals. Roger, Rayleigh, Odin, Shanks, Crocus, Whitebeard, and says Luffy's the man they've been waiting for. You know, in recent streams, what did I say, chat? In recent streams, what did I say? I said that Gabon can look at Luffy like, this is the man Roger's waiting for. You are the future Pirate King. You are Joy Boy. I'm going to lay my life down on the line. I'm going to lay my life on the line for you, Luffy. You are the Pirate King. You are Joy Boy. I trust you to save the world, save my wife, and save my son. I already got stabbed by Keatingham or Summers, thrown off a mountain. Now Scopper, this chapter, is losing his arm. Scopper might be like, yo, I'm gonna lay my life down for my friend. Hey, look at what Jesus said. Jesus said, love, there's no love like laying your life down for your friends. And exactly, that's another great point from L. There's no other love like laying your life down for your friends. If Scopper believes that Luffy is the man Roger's waiting for, and that Luffy's a future Pirate King, and that Luffy is Joy Boy, Scopper's gonna be like, yo, I'm down, dude. I am down. I will sacrifice myself for Luffy. Hey, you know, by the way, Shanks lost an arm for Luffy. Gabon lost an arm. He has a son named Colin. Maybe Luffy steps in. Gabon dies. He lost his arm as well. Luffy steps in. Luffy is like Colin's Shanks. He was stabbed by Gunko. He sliced Summers. Thank you, Sani Vito. Thank you. Yo, Vincent, are you in the Discord server, by the way? Do you read the SBS? Yeah, we did recent streams on it, past streams on the SBSs. You need 271K? There's 271,000 reasons I'm not a Chalcedonian. The main issue with Gabon dying is it would make it confusing as to why Gabon said, come see me in Elbaf. Well, firstly, promises could be unfulfilled. I don't think Gabon, at that point, when he was telling that to Luffy and Zoro, was like planning on dying. Second thing, I think that could be Oda's way of subverting expectations. Like, if Oda knows that One Piece fans are very meticulous on average, they'll read every little freaking detail. And, you know, if you have Gabon saying, hey, Luffy, Zoro, I'll meet up with you guys in the future, Oda, I think, would imagine fans would take that to mean, oh, well, I guess Gabon's not going to die, right? I think Oda would kind of imagine fans to react that way, especially because Oda reads so many SBS questions. He knows how his fans are, at least the average fan. So I think there's an argument to be made that it could be to subvert expectations. I think Luffy's next generation will be a Marine. Does something for Smokey he deserves. Oh, do something for Smokey. Yo, chat, do we pull out the open wire? Vincent, I couldn't find you in the Discord, man. I was gonna ping you the other day, and I couldn't find your username. So I didn't ping you. I felt bad. I think I just wrote your name out normally. I didn't want to leave you out. Either Kobe has a son or daughter, and he's a fan of Luffy in a mini story at the end of One Piece. Yo, Kobe was like a big fan of Luffy. Kobe as a kid, and now they're a fan of Luffy. What's worse, Parrot Theory or Crocomom? Smokey said that's a tough choice right there. Crocomom needs to be abolished. I think they're bad for different reasons. If you guys remember the stream a few weeks ago, and in the stream, I reacted to the Parrot Theory, but it was a Reddit post. It wasn't like a video. It was the Reddit post. I showed you guys that it relied on circular arguments. I mean, a circular argument is not truth conducive. In other words, it's a failed. If you have a circular argument in your theory, in my opinion, you should just delete it, because a bad argument makes your theory look bad. You only want good arguments. If you're just trying to throw anything at the wall to see what sticks, bad arguments make your theory look bad. You should just limit your conclusion to only good premises. But with the specific post I looked at with the emu as a pair theory, there were multiple circular arguments. So for an example, right? One of the arguments, and again, there's so many posts. There's like Reddit posts, Twitter posts, videos, just 1,000 different posts about emu as a parrot. I don't think that they're all arguing in the same way. But with the post that I saw, I'll give you an example. In the post, it said that, okay, well, emu's a parrot. That's the conclusion. So naturally, you say, okay, well, what is your justification for this conclusion? Okay? Your conclusion is that emu's a parrot. So what is your justification for this belief? One of the arguments, I think it was argument number 5. I kid you not. It said that Roger laughed when he was at Laugh Tale and he was learning the history of the world. It would be funny if emu was a parrot. See, chat, that is a circular argument because you are assuming the very thing in question. This is like fallacies 101. This is like logic 101. Again, the conclusion in question is that emu is a parrot. That's what we're putting on trial. You can't say, oh, well, okay, my argument is that Roger laughed. Okay, well, why does Roger laughing have to do with anything? Oh, well, it'd be funny because emu's a parrot. You're assuming the very thing in question. It's like it's a blatant. You're begging the question. And notice that argument only works if you assume the conclusion. So when I see things like that, that's what makes me think something is a poor argument or maybe in some cases a bad theory. But guys, we always need to be careful because there is such thing as the fallacy. And what I mean by that is someone could have horrible arguments for their belief. But here's the thing. That belief could be true. It's just that the person in question is making very bad arguments for it. And this is very important for us to always remember. Especially if we're in the One Piece community, you know, we're debating, we're having discussions, we're making theories. Someone could have 100 bad reasons for their theory. I mean, it's entirely possible that the 100 reasons are terrible, but then the conclusion is still true, maybe through a different argument, through different means. That is always possible. Like, here's my conclusion, here's my theory. The sun is hot. And then you come to me, you're like, hey, Eddie, you're telling me the sun is hot. What is your justification for the sun being hot? And I tell you, my shirt is black and I love ice cream and Chick-fil-A is awesome. None of those are truth conducive in regards to the conclusion in question. Those are not arguments. I might love Chick-fil-A. I might love ice cream. I might actually being a black shirt. But none of those are truth conducive towards the conclusion. Okay? But wait a second. The sun is hot. The conclusion is true. So we always need to be careful with the fallacy. Emu. Wait, did I say that? Emu. One Piece theorists really be doing that a lot. Yeah. And I don't want to harp on this too much. I think we should switch to the open mic unless you guys want to hang out, not do the open mic tonight. Maybe you guys want to do the open mic chapter reaction stream because, guys, I'm very tired. As I said, we had our workout today. We had our studies today, work and church. I'm already getting quite sleepy here. I don't want to harp on this too much, but chat, listen, if you guys are going to be a supporter of the channel, if you guys want to be great, good people, chat, we all together, I included, we all got to step it up. All of us, we all collectively, we all have to help each other be better people, help each other in motivation, help each other in love and patience. You guys got to help me because I'm a flawed person, chat. I'm a flawed, finite man. I don't know everything. Okay, I don't know the whole world. Okay, I cannot map the whole world and everything. That's not within my means. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not a man of complete wisdom. I deal with anger. I'm a sinful man, right? I'm a limited man. I make mistakes. I understand like you guys, but we all got to work together, okay? If someone is critiquing a One Piece theory, if someone is critiquing your arguments, chat, please don't be the kind of person to make a tu quoque. If the conversation is about Emu is a parrot, that's what the conversation's about. We're talking about Emu being a parrot. And I'm just giving you garbage reason, garbage reason, garbage reason, garbage reason. And you're like, yo, Eddie, like, I respect you, but like, that's not a good reason. That's a genetic fallacy. That's not a good reason. That's circular. I should not respond to you. I should not be like, hey, bro, you Smokey, you make circular arguments too. Don't you have a theory about Shanks? You make circular arguments too. Like, what? You're such a hypocrite, dude. Like, a lot of times, us as humans, yeah, we do that out of anger. That's a very normal thing. We see that all the time. When we're very angry, we tell the other person, bro, you do that too. You're such a hypocrite. But listen, if we're trying to have an honest, fruitful conversation, chat, we can't be acting like that. In the case of me, let's say hypothetically, I was trying to prove Emu's a parrot, and I have 10 bad reasons, and Smokey over here is showing why my 10 reasons are bad, and he's being honest, he's being logical, he's exposing the fallacies. I cannot sit there and change the subject. I should not sit there and be like, oh, well, Smokey, what about your Shanks theory? You said in your Shanks theory that blah, 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 blah. You do the same thing. You're a hypocrite. Why do you think you're better than me, huh? That's not the conversation. That's actually deflecting. I would be doing that, yeah, maybe because I'm irritated and I'm angry. You know, humans, we act like that sometimes. But then a lot of times, I'm doing that to deflect. Because if Smokey is exposing me, he's exposing that my arguments are bad, instead of me realizing or admitting or feeling embarrassed that my arguments are bad. Well, now we're not talking about that. Now we're talking about Smokey. Now we're talking about Smokey's theories. And we're talking about why Smokey's an egotistical person and why Smokey is hypocritical. You see how we shift the spotlight? Right? This is a level 1 basic rhetorical move, right? Chat, let's not act like that. L says it's crazy people will eat that stuff right up, 100k views. Don't argue with this kind of meaningless theory and reflection. All right, chat, we'll do a short open mic session this stream. Next stream, we'll do a longer session. And I only say short this stream because, again, I'm quite tired, guys. Okay, if you guys want to join the open mic live stream and speak to me live on stream, join the Discord server. The parrot theory started as a joke, now it has a life of its own. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against any theory inherently. I want to see good, proper arguments. I don't think I'm asking for much. You know, another encounter, right? We will see this. I'll pull you guys up into the open mic in just a second. I see you guys, Vinny, Eli, Gabon, Over, Heaven, and Ski Mask. I see you guys there. One quick thing, right? I've seen this repeatedly in One Piece for a very long time. As you guys know, I was in the One Piece community for a few years before I even started making videos, right? Um, we see this common behavior regarding the One Piece theorist, right? Let's just use a vague title, right? The vague title of the One Piece theorist. Chat, the One Piece theorist has this reoccurring behavior. They will search for every kind of argument for their theory. They're looking on Wikipedia. They're taking screenshots. They're sending you really exclusive myths, things from freaking Hindu philosophy, things from the Bible, things from 1700s history. They're showing you how it parallels from the Void Century, how it was foreshadowed from pre-time skip. They're showing you every freaking argument you could possibly come up with for the theory. And they're saying, yo, bro, check this theory out, man. I got all these 100 reasons for the theory, man. Bro, you gotta buy it. Isn't this a sick theory, dude? Right? They have this whole approach to you. They have this whole approach with you, the One Piece theorist. Now, here's the problem. If you point out, like, hey, with all due respect, you know, reasons 1 through 4, those are non sequiturs. I don't know, reason 5, I don't know, begging the question. Reason number 6, maybe it's kind of likely. You know, I'm not really feeling the theory, bro. It's not that strong of a theory. The problem is that a lot of times the One Piece theorist is going to say, hey, this theory's just for fun, man. It's just for fun, dude. Why are you busting my balls, man? Why are you taking it so seriously, dude? Wait, time out. Wait, time out. Flag on the play. You just spent God knows how much time trying to find all these different evidences and all these different reasons so that you can compile a whole theory and share it to the world and try to get other people to buy into your theory. But the moment someone finds the theory to be weak, oh, well, now all of a sudden it's just for fun and they're taking it too seriously. Again, this is just like very immature, disingenuous behavior that we see over and over and over again. And when you see this, guys, I'll tell there's a simple reason for it. It's very simple. I'll let you guys in on a secret. If someone acts like that, it's because they only want to hear positive validation. That's why. If you positively validated it, they'd be thrilled and happy, and they would give you a fat kiss on your forehead. But because you don't give them validation, now they're upset, you're an a-hole, you're a know-it-all, you're angry, you're rude, you're punching the keyboard, you're all these things because you don't like the theory and that you're taking it too seriously. Because they need that ego validated. That this is the red pill. Here's the red pill. Take it or leave it. They want the validation because they're egotistical. I want to post a One Piece theory and you have to like it. If you don't like it, then you're a know-it-all. You don't want to have fun. You think you're smarter than me. You think you're better than everybody. I hate you. You're so scum. You're so lame. You're annoying. Like all these things, just personal attacks. They start judging your character. This has happened to me for many years. I'm highly desensitized. But anyways, I'm letting you guys know. I know a lot of you guys are new to the One Piece community. Hey, just you got to be ready for this. The internet's the internet, man. You're going to run into very nice people. You're going to run into wonderful people. You might run into the best friends you'll ever meet in your life through One Piece. But hey, humans are finite. Humans are flawed. We are all flawed creatures. We're limited creatures. You're going to run into people that they're on meds. They're bipolar. They're, no offense, they're lunatics. They're abusers. They're going to run into all kinds of crazy people. So you just have to be wary of these things. You have to mitigate your expectations. But anyways, enough of the rant. Enough of the rant. Let's pool into the open mic. Yo, what's going on, bro?
Hey.
What's going on, you two?
Yeah, no, he's right, guys. Like, I mean, I had a BB theory, and King J put like 280 holes into it. So now
I almost spit the water out.
Now it's not a theory anymore. Now I just call it a VP1. That's smoking one.
But you know what? Oh, this is what I was gonna ping. Thank you for pointing that out, because this is what I was gonna ping Vincent on in Discord the other day. I was mentioning, guys, on Discord, join the Discord so you can hop into voice calls with Smokey. I was saying that one of the things I love most about this community, you know, Johan, Eric, L, Smokey, Vincent, of course, King J, of course, everybody, right? One of the things I like most is that we are honest with each other. Sometimes on stream in front of everybody, one might think I'm sensitive and I don't want to get embarrassed. I'll throw an idea out there. I'll be like, hey, wait, isn't this possible? Well, what if it's this? What if it's that? Smokey will be like, wait, I don't know, because isn't this other conflicting fact established? Or maybe Vincent will be like, hey, well, I don't know. Like, didn't Oda already say this other thing, which kind of contradicts what you're saying, Eddie? We're honest with each other and we don't get butthurt. So there's been many times from my own experience, again, live on stream, I'll come up with an idea. I'll say, yo, Vincent, what if it's like, what if it's such and such? And Vincent will be like, well, I don't know. Didn't, like, in the Elbaf Arc, they already said the opposite? Then I'll be like, oh, yeah, you know what? That's true. Yeah, you're right. And then I'll move, right? We don't take it too personal, chat. And that's important. It keeps us all friends. We're all honest and loving with each other. We're cool. Like, yeah, we'll debate sometimes. We might throw a little shots at each other as brothers, but don't be too personal with it, you know? I don't want to give like a whole moral lecture. I'm sorry, chat. This has become like a whole moral lecture. We could get back onto the chapter, but you guys know, like, on this channel, we're very, like, we just go with the flow. I just speak from the heart. I just speak from my mind, you know? So, anyways, go ahead, you two.
Speaking of shots, King J almost took me out with a 12 gauge shotgun this week with his shot. Bro, that's so bad. Like, literally, I changed my profile picture to Luffy. He goes down and I changed it back to Gabon. It used to be Garp, and now this guy, I am taking L after L after L lately.
That's why I was
all the W's. So
yeah, that's the meta, chat. You guys listening? Follow Vincent's profile pictures to know where the W's are at, and follow Smokey's profile pictures to know where the L's are. Brothership, welcome back, brother. He says, I still haven't seen the parrot theory. Can I get a quick breakdown? There's like 1,000 posts on it. I don't think they all approach it the same way. So another thing that I wasn't really a fan of with the specific post that I saw is this. I know Three Skull Joe theories. He pointed this out as well with the parrot theory. A lot of the arguments were like, well, emu relates to this, and it relates to this, which relates to this, which relates to this, which relates to this, which relates to a parrot. So you have like a string of like 8 people, or a string of like 8 objects, like a string of like 8 movies, and then you arrive at a parrot. You know, like, if you think about something like product cumulative decay, the likelihood of a series of propositions being true decreases with the more propositions you add on top of it. So if my conclusion requires 100 steps, the chances of all 100 steps succeeding is very, very low. And again, they did that in the parrot theory that I saw multiple times. Well, emu is based on this guy, which 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 is based on a guy that has a pet parrot. You know, so I'm not a fan of that. I think that's kind of a very weak argument.
I think for me, it's like, how did the parrot theory even gain traction? It started like as a joke, and then I feel like we talked. Like, I feel like some people have talked themselves into it.
I think it's because of the whole thing with, like, that one chapter where they showed Emu, like, at distance, and Joy Boy was, like, up close to the panel. And then
Yeah.
we just going about he was sitting on his shoulder. Bro, I mean, if you look at the size of the hat, we can obviously see that Joy Boy was big. So so it's possible that he was a giant that had Emu on his shoulder. So same thing but different premise.
I mean, we also saw Joy Boy standing next to E-Myth. Ah.
But we could also chalk that up to like maybe Emu and Joy Boy have the same power. Like he has the lighter version of Omen, and he's able to alter his size too.
Ah, come on.
I know,
Bro, you're so funny. No, that's fair. That almost reminds me. It's like I've been reading a little bit into this lately. There's like this idea that never mind. It's too complicated. Johan says the best part of Eddie is that he can guess the shape of the Gorsei found, or the best part of Eddie is that he guessed the shape of the Gorsei, found the idea because he understood One Piece. You know, out of all the Gorsei, I only got one, and it was Mars.
Wait, I think you got Saturn. You got Saturn,
Did I?
if I recall.
Yuki?
Yeah, I think you
Yuki-Oni?
I think, yeah, you got Mars and you got Saturn. That much I remember.
Or Ushi-Oni? Okay, we got two of the Gorsei. We're 2 for 5.
Yeah. Man, our bingo card's looking very bad right now.
Bro, it's Oda's fault. It's the worst best writer ever.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like the Bond's death is going to be squashed too, because knowing Oda, he's going to have Hiruden and Loki interfere at the last second in the next chapter.
Oh shoot!
Yeah,
Loki.
I could see it. I could see the Princess of Elbaf coming back up. I could definitely see it, Vince.
So,
and I can already see the title too. The title card's going to be called Brothers.
For you two, the both of you, as well as chat, I was asking text chat. I don't think there were any responses. Verbally, Smokey and Vincent, and text chat. I want all you guys to answer this in the text chat, as well as liking, subscribing, noti bell. Do that YouTube stuff for me, and then afterwards, I want to hear everyone's response. What is the % chance of Gabon dying this arc? From 0 being like no chance at all, there's no possibility of him dying, and 100% being like it's basically confirmed that he's gonna die. What is the chance of Gabon?
I think it's about 40%.
Oh, that's low.
I would say like maybe there's a 75% chance, because that's like, for me, I think it would be a good move to kill off one of the other Roger pirates, besides having Roger being the only one that got killed off. And he's the only confirmed Roger pirate we know that's still active.
Well, I mean, technically Odin was a Roger pirate, and he's dead.
Yeah, but he was yeah, I guess you were right. But
you're right. But you're right. Roger is the only major death in the Roger pirates.
Yeah, so like, it would be nice to have like at least some other Roger pirate like kill it off with not just being like a sickness, because I mean, I don't know if it's confirmed, but it looks like Rayleigh's sick. It looks like the Bond's gonna die by the knife. We don't know if Procus is still getting eaten by a whale.
Eaten by a whale is wild.
Yeah. I'm the only one that's in the majority, dude. Even JR Writer said 10%. Other people are saying 50. I said 90.
Wow. I only went as high as 40.
Oh, the only one who's with me is my wife. She usually disagrees on my theories. She doesn't think I cook anymore.
Said you're washed, goat.
She said I'm washed.
But I mean, like I said, Gabon dying would probably be a good choice for Oda to have the story properly processed. But knowing him, he's going to blue ball us on that too.
You know what? I think at its base, at its premise, I think I gotta agree with you guys. Like, I mean, I do think like if Gabon died, I definitely think it would be good for the story. But just like Vince said, just the way I think Oda operates, I just don't feel like he has. You know what I mean? Like I've been talking about it for weeks. Like you guys have heard me say it before. Like, I still don't think Oda has the balls to kill Shanks, even though it's heavily implied that it's going to happen.
And it could be foreshadowed here with Gabon, considering he's now lost his left arm, so it'd be like mirroring what happens to Shanks in the future.
True. But hey, let me make this clear, guys. Gabon, if he does survive, Gabon losing his left arm doesn't even have to be permanent. We saw how quickly Chopper reattached Gert's fingers.
Al said, I'm listening to you both. Al said, saying 50% knowing how Oda writes. Yeah, that's the thing that throws me off. Like, Oda's too afraid. But, I mean, other than, like, Oda having this noticeable pattern of not killing people, I don't really see, like, a motivating reason for him not to die. And I think it's fair for me to request that, given that he's fighting Emu. You know, it's not like
I think it's fair.
Like, it's not like if, like, let's say we were talking about okay, let's say the story is the exact same and we change the conversation and we're like Shaki, right? Let's say I'm like, yo, I need a reason that Shaki's gonna survive. People would be like, oh, why do you need a reason for that? That's kind of random. Because, I mean, no, there's no danger that Shaki's in. She's not in a fight. She doesn't have an illness. Like, me requesting a reason for Shaki to remain alive feels rather strange. But it makes sense that I would request a reason for Gabon to remain alive because he's fighting Emu. So, doesn't this inherently show you that things are heavily pointing towards his death? I mean, just given the fact that he's fighting Emu. Isn't that like the worst possible?
Yeah.
I think that's 100% fair. The reason why earlier I was trying to push back with that panel of Gabon, like, I think you're right. Promises can go unfulfilled. But me personally, right now, I'm thinking that Gabon's going to point us to the fourth poneglyph of the Burnstar, man. I think there's still some narrative reason why they need to talk again. Especially after, let's say, potentially Robin actually starts explaining the mural to the rest of the Straw Hats.
Yeah. Dude, I wouldn't even be surprised if Robin explained the mural off screen, man. This dude Oda is like a...
That's one of my gripes with Oda lately. Like, the Straw Hats are not exchanging information. Like, I really don't feel like we see Straw Hat interactions the way we used to.
Yeah, it's not like that anymore.
It's more like one or three people of the Straw Hats know, and the rest of them are just like in the dark with their own shit.
Johan said it makes me
think about what
Johan said it makes me think that Oda is like the creator of Kirby or Super Smash Bros. He hangs out on the internet and on fandoms. That'd be pretty cool. Sakurai, yeah. I mean, with as much
Smash Bros. And Kirby. That's why Kirby got so much love in Super Smash.
But you know what? Like, with as many SBS questions as Oda reads, it's almost like that just puts him in the community. Could you imagine how many people are writing into Oda?
A lot. Well, hey, you remember my old theory? I don't think these are kids that are sending Oda all these dick questions and stuff. I think these are adults that are just trying to get his attention.
What a terrible way.
But I mean, I think if you want your question to get answered from Oda, you got to write it in like a kid.
Bro, but the question's gonna be about a dick. It'd be pointless.
I know.
It would just be for the satisfaction knowing that Oda responded to you.
They're in a loop. They're caught in a loop. They want the question answered. They don't want the dick questions, but they got to get the dick questions. Otherwise, Oda won't answer.
Jaffa Hunter says
that 2-year-old sophistication.
Jaffa Hunter says TBH, as long as Loki is alive, no one needs to die. Is that a good argument?
As long as Loki is alive, nobody needs to die. Well, you guys know me. You know, so I'm the Ragnar and Loki hater, apparently. Even though it's really just Ragnar for me. But anyways, like
Bro.
I could formulate an argument. You know what I mean? Loki is so powerful that he could keep people from dying.
What do you think about Loki joining Blackbeard's crew?
No.
I think he's gonna want to rock with Nika, man.
Although I would love it if Loki and Blackbeard met and Loki said to Blackbeard, "You are such a disappointment to your father, bro. You are nothing like your father. I met him and that was a great man."
Yeah, I can definitely see that. There's Loki downplay any one of the young Anko be like, your father would be ashamed of you.
Could you imagine like Blackbeard gets his father downplayed to his face?
Diabolical.
That's like Ace and Akainu.
Yeah. Wait, incoming Blackbeard is a donut?
You are we eat. Guys, any questions pertaining to the chapter? Me, Smokey, and Vincent would love to answer. Let me know, chat. I'm getting very tired, so we might have like another 10 minutes. But next stream,
yeah,
I'll make sure that the open mic is way longer than this stream.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, to be honest, man, we don't have a lot right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I
don't even think we'll see Sanji and Killingham in this chapter.
Bruh, what the hell? What's taking up so much space?
That's I know. I think from what I'm reading and from what I understand is that Gabon and Emu are taking up around 50% of the chapter.
This image doesn't even talk about Zoro and Keatingham, by the way, or Zoro and Summers, by the way. Didn't the earlier spoilers say that they were yapping?
Yeah.
I think it said something about how Zoro and Summers are having a conversation, but I think it said no Sanji or Gillingham. So the Zoro and Summers thing may have been fabricated too.
Yeah.
Unless we get like just a quick snapshot of them fighting each other.
Yeah, I think that's what we would get. Just a quick peek into Zoro and Summers, which is kind of crazy.
Santurio.
Now that I think about it, which is kind of crazy. You know, I'll give up with the props for this one. I didn't think he would switch Sanji and Zoro's opponents. I thought for sure Sanji would be the one to fight Summers, and that Zoro would be fighting Killingham.
Bro, Summers got that sword, man.
I know. But it's just the way that Summers talks about love. Like, it's almost like when you go through the story, you see how many characters have said love is a hurricane. Sanji, Gabon, Gloriosa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're talking about Dragon.
I just feel like the way that Summers was talking about the bond between parents and childs and his sadistic view on it, I just thought it was set up for him to fight Sanji. Not that I'm complaining that they switched opponents. It just caught me by surprise.
Chat, if you didn't hear earlier, break next week.
But I think for Oda's thinking for the matchups, he wanted to have Zoro go up against a swordsman that had like one of the most legendary blades out there. So I think it's more about a swordsman's perspective than it is like character development.
Okay, no. I can see exactly why you're saying that because yeah, Oda may have already had it in his brain that he was gonna let Emu give Summers a legendary weapon.
All right. Also, text chat. Sorry, everyone in the text chat. I'm happy you guys are here. God bless. Kiss Ad Hikari. Yes, no, maybe. Q. Johan, thank you all for being here, chat. Do all that YouTube stuff for me, please. Like, subscribe, noti bell, and ask us questions, chat. I want you guys to interact with us. Throw your questions, throw your statements, throw your takes and opinions out in the text chat so that Vincent can read them and interact with you. Smokey can read your message and interact with you. Help us, help me, Vincent and Smokey, interact with you guys. Make it easier. I need some question. I need some spicy takes.
Yeah, because I'm in Discord, I can't pull up the stream, so I can't read it, but normally I do read it. So hit us
No
with
problem.
your questions, hit us with your theories. You know what I mean?
Emu catching a body would elevate Emu as a villain. He'd be a Kainu level.
I think Emu catching a body would be a very good thing for the story. A very, very good thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time he's emerged physically in like centuries, so it's only natural that he'd be catching bodies on his first time out.
Right.
Well,
You know who I want the first body to be. It would be a wet dream. We're having roasted tree squirrel.
No, bro, what is wrong with you, dude? Why do you hate Ragnar so much?
And more importantly, why would you want to eat it? All that metallic flavor.
Metallic.
It's good for you. Iron.
Man.
It's iron in your body.
Nicholas, I'm afraid we don't have too much time, bro. You want me to set us here? You want to have you want a debate stream over the week, over the break week? Is that what you want? Axrom asked, why don't I do videos anymore? Axrom, it would be a pleasure, but it's just not feasible because I have a full-time job. I am very busy throughout the day as a married man, doing lots of reading, making sure I go to church and blah, 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 blah. I am not able to do YouTube full-time like how I used to in the past. In the past, YouTube was my full-time thing. I was able to just slave away at YouTube 24/7. But unfortunately or fortunately, I don't live like that.
I think the thing besides that, guys, is like anytime anybody asks Freeble why he doesn't do theories, I'm gonna need you guys to remember me saying this one time. Not only has he said he doesn't have time, but the main thing is like, you guys gotta remember, this guy is only motivated to make theories when he feels like they actually work. He's not gonna force theory, guys.
Yeah, you guys gotta let me cook, man.
It's gotta be concrete.
If you go back and look through all his old videos, you can find which theories you can tell he was actually really motivated to make. Like Whitebeard as an octopus, you know, that ties heavily into David Jones' lore. Whitebeard the Kraken.
What we need to do is go through all of my past posts on Discord and Twitter. Dude, I was meaning to do this with VSWAT. Chop up segments of my streams that can be converted into videos. Because, I mean, there are a few...
Flashback art stream.
There are, like, a few ideas I have here and there, but nothing, like, really compelling, you know? Especially, like, the more I learn... not that, like, I'm a know-it-all, I don't know much, but the more I learn, I start to feel like past arguments of mine, or at least past theories, the way I would argue is just not really strong, not really good. So as I
that would be interesting, go back and refining your old theories,
or even like reviewing old theories,
rethread the theories.
That could be a good break week stream,
rethread the theories, past
good
theory review stream. Or theory review. What if I just review theories?
Yeah, I remember back when you used to go theory for theory.
Yeah, I do remember that. But I hope that answers a question, Axrom. In the past, I literally did YouTube full time, but now life is totally different. So I hope you're able to understand. Right now, at least, we have like a small, tight-knit community it's pretty calm and chill. I'm grateful. I'm very happy with the blessing I have because I mean, from the beginning, I never thought people would even care to watch my stuff. So, I mean, as long as we have more than 2 viewers, I'm very happy.
But one thing I do think, people, is I do think, you know, as we are inching towards wrapping this thing, I mean, we're on a journey, bro. We're in the trenches together, side by side. We're on a journey. And I do think, like, I know you're super busy and you have to motivate, but I do think we need one last theory. You know,
Oh,
to the
one
end.
last theory to top off. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I got to figure
I
out
mean,
what is a good theory. Maybe I'll just have to, I got to lock in. Give me like a week and just like, I'm going to shut the curtains, close the door, put some headphones on and lock in and I'll figure out a theory.
I mean, no, that's realistic, bro. Like, for me, when you make a theory, I would imagine you doing exactly that, having a pen and paper and a bunch of panels, like jotting down every single point you can.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, you know, like, here's the thing, right? With all the past theories I had, they were very genuine. It's like me just, like, I just had an idea and I'm like, is this cohesive with the story? Does this correspond with the story? And then I would remember certain things throughout the plot and I'd be like, okay, well, this seems like a cool idea. Then I would record, edit, and put it out, right? It was just very natural. I never really like forced it. I never really thought like, what if I take Blackbeard and like, what's something really cool? Like, what's a cool animal? What if it's like a zebra? No, like a tiger or like octopus. I didn't have that. It was like very honest. It was very intuitive. It was very natural. I never like forced it, you know?
And back, One Piece was so much fun back then because back then we even had a number scheme with the Straw Hats, and then Threeville took it and he was able to find a way to connect it to Phoebe and her getting the Niku no Mi, the pawpaw fruit, and the pawpaw fruit being something else. You know?
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, I remember.
One Piece used to be so much fun back in the day, and not that it's still fun now, but for me, like, Oda is making me hit a wall because I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, which is crazy, and I'm doing the opposite and becoming less patient. But Oda is making me hit my head through the wall with these breaks lately. I feel like we haven't progressed. You know what I mean? I love
Yeah.
Elbaf, and I think Elbaf is going to be an amazing reread on a binge. And I think Elbaf is one of the best arcs in the New World. But I feel there's a part of me that just wants Elbaf to end.
I mean,
I'm going to be honest.
you know what?
The final countdown now. We got 10 chapters until 1200.
Hey guys, listen, we're gonna wrap up here in a minute, but there is a few more things I want to add because this is an interesting conversation. Guys, don't forget, I already have so many theories out, dude. I feel like the amount of content I was pumping out was so insane, it would just last people for years. You guys can always go back and check out the theories in the past, refresh your mind, see if it helps you think of a new theory, or maybe you guys missed a few videos. I actually have a lot of theories. Like, I have theories about Laugh-Tale being in the center of the earth. You guys remember that one? That one's not brought up often. Law being in Cross Guild, a full breakdown of that. Emu being National Treasure. I got a lot of content. So I wanted to mention that. Secondly,
And I remember the why the next Straw Hat will be Bonnie.
Bonnie, that's another one.
Especially with that ties into the law. Now that I kind of think about it, not that just in this one aspect. Like with those theories, you said it didn't have to be a multiple choice fallacy. I think that's the thing too. Like people got to realize, we could get Bonnie, then later on we can pick up Vivi.
Yeah,
maybe we'll get Yamato also.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like this false dichotomy. It also Axrom, he asks, what about One Piece debate with other YouTubers like Mort or O'Hara? The problem is that none of these people Ever since I started talking about the Palestinian mass elimination stuff, they started cutting me off, and then I started talking about Jays, and then they definitely got upset. And some of them even tried to say that like I'm a lunatic and I lost my marbles. So they won't want to do content together. But I mean, I still think like if I'm being honest, like becoming a famous YouTuber or like becoming super poppin' in One Piece YouTube, that's not one of my main focuses. Let me word it like that. You know, I just want to be with the gang. I want to be with you guys. It would be wonderful to, of course, make new friends and have the community grow, of course. But I want to be natural. Just hop on here with you guys. We chop it up. We come up with theories. We critique each other. We have fun. We laugh. You know, I don't want to
I mean,
take it
us
too
three,
seriously.
me and you have been talking for years, but Vince was a good addition.
Yeah, of course.
Vince was a good addition because I mean, it's comfortable. Like I don't have to worry about being nervous. Like I know this is on YouTube, you know, be on YouTube forever. But realistically, I like coming in here is just like going to the bar and chatting debates with my friends, sports debates, One Piece, all that. It's just comfortable. So I'm absolutely for the community growing, more people coming in. But at the same time, for me, the one thing I would never want to lose is the easy comfortability of just coming in here. Because like me and Threeville, we can go days without talking. But as soon as we come in here, it's like we never left.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first started, I was also like really nervous because it's just like very difficult to try to articulate over like things about it, like especially when don't know the person, you're not sure if they're gonna like you're not gonna hit it off the bat with them.
Oh,
But you guys were
absolutely.
like very well.
Let me give you your props for that too. I noticed that from the beginning that you were a little reserved and shit. But now you're in it, bro. I've seen the confidence fight. Like it takes comfortability, man. That's what it is. We've gotten used to each other.
Yeah, and I do appreciate you guys being like very open with me being on here. Like, I mean, I was not sure if I was going to be like one of the top guys here, but I literally just joined like at the beginning, towards the beginning of Elbaf. So like literally the new guy on the group.
I do want to mention, of course, Smokey, Dawn of Ascension, Vincent, King J, L, amongst so many. You guys are beloved, of course. But I also wanted to add Marshall D. Preach. That is hands down. Now he might be the realest guy, well, like the realest One Piece creator I met through through YouTube. Hands down, he is such a great guy. As well as Hidden Island. Hidden Island's also a very great guy. But Marshall D. Preach, I've always loved this guy. He's so great, chat. That's if I could co-sign someone like from my heart as being a nice guy, it's Preach for sure. That's he's a good person.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he also at one point had to step away from One Piece content, right? Do you guys know about that?
Yeah. So the channel and Preach, from what I understand, it was two guys, right?
Yeah.
One of the guys had played, and then the other guy took over.
Mm.
So that's where I get confused when you bring that up. I'm wondering which one are you referring to. But either way, I mean, yeah, they used to have stuff popping back in the day.
Yeah. They were killing it with Dak Sake, Hidden Island, doing great. Wait, dude, what?
Let's go.
Marshall D. Preach did a face reveal, or Wizard of Oars did a face reveal.
Okay, yeah, it's Wizard of Oars. Okay.
I never even realized that happened. What the hell? That's so crazy. All right, anyways, any last questions, comments, concerns? You guys have like 5 seconds before we head out.
Here's to the more of the journey, and hopefully no more freaking breaks, dude. I'll have an aneurysm if we don't get 3 chapters in a row, son.
Yo, cheers
I'm
to a
telling you, dude.
dead Gabon. I'm sorry.
Come
He has all the red flag, bro, and he's reminiscing about his crew. Nah, bro.
I mean, you're right. You're right. All the dead flags.
I mean, he could die and still be a legend. In fact, he might even be more of a legend because he dies.
oh, absolutely. Whether he dies or lives, he's still a legend. But my thing is like, Oda, do you have the balls to do it? Is it finally time? That's what I'm wondering.
Nah, I don't.
I'm just hoping that. In my mind, I'm just hoping that since this is like a Shonen break and not a Oda break, that we get like hopefully like 2 separate chapters between next week and the week after.
By the way, now that we're on that about possibly getting a chapter, even though it's a shonen break, like to be honest, guys, ever since that Shueisha crackdown, I don't know when it was, like 4 or 5 months ago or whatever, but ever since that, like the leakers have been moving differently. They've been posting more information in Discord than on Twitter. It's crazy. We don't even get a detailed summary.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
We might have to start going on the dark web for the spoilers. All right, I gotta wrap this up here, Chad. I am sorry, guys. I gotta wrap this up here. I am I'm about to pass out. Thank you so much, chat. God bless all of you, especially the supporters like Smokey and King J. Thank you from the bottom of my heart tremendously. I could never express it in enough words. Thank you so much, as well as everyone else being here, cracking jokes, posting theories, asking questions, just talking and hanging out. Thank you for making this so real, chat. Just honest, normal, honest dudes, just trying to have fun and have some good conversations, not taking it too personally, but still giving each other a hard time, busting each other's balls. Thank you so much, chat, for making this fun, and thank you so much for giving me your time. Chat, has been a pleasure. I will be praying for all you guys. Make sure you guys pray for me and my health. I got a little cough going on. Pray that I am able to recover over it quickly. But thank you so much, everybody. I will catch you guys certainly at the chapter reaction, or even sooner if they decide to do a long summary spoiler image. I would prefer if they did that so we could stream sooner. But nevertheless, thank you so much. God bless each and every one of you guys. I'll be praying for you and your family. Take care, everybody. Peace. And